Have you ever felt like you were on a roller coaster in life? Up and then down and up and down. I mean, roller coasters are fun, like when you go to the park, but not in life. But think about the apostles now at this time, quite a roller coaster. They're with Jesus. First of all, they left their jobs, whether it was a fisherman or whatever it was. They left their careers and they joined this guy, and for 3 years he's doing miracles, multiplying loaves and bread, he's healing the blind, and it's like, wow, we've got the Messiah on top of the ride. And then all of a sudden he dies and everything is lost. Such a low point, we don't know what to do. We go back to our old way, Galilee to fishing, and suddenly he appears and we're back up again after having been afraid in the upper room. And then now he leaves again, going to heaven and ascending. And what's going to happen? Well, he promises the Holy Spirit, but they didn't know what that was yet for 10 more days. I think they had a real roller coaster, up and down. And we have that a lot in life. I have a friend, Mark, who he had a special friendship with a lady here, and suddenly it didn't work out. And he took a job down south, and he got down to Texas, and he got this job, and it was supposed to be great, and they were really counting on him. All of a sudden, the business had issues. Their sales weren't right, and he lost his job, came back to Minnesota. I don't know where I'm going to live, what I'm going to do. Finally, a woman asked him out. Sort of got it, not the typical way, but it happened for him, and he got this job in a day. And I thought, what a roller coaster ride for this guy. But the one thing he had through it all, even through the Texas experience, was God was doing something. God was in charge. He was abandoning his life to providence. And God was doing something even when he didn't know what it was. He tried to trust. And that's what we need to do when we feel a roller coaster ride. To say, I surrender to you. Make it a prayer. Have you ever said that in a prayer? I surrender to you. I suggest next time you're driving down Highway 94, you say, I surrender to you, Lord. When somebody's not driving as you would like, or you met another construction site. So, I surrender to you in the roller coaster ride. The other thing we really need to be able to do too, we need to be able to process emotions. To process emotions. I say that to all of us. Because sometimes in life we experience hurts and we say, I'm not going to let myself be hurt again like this. I'm not going to open my heart up again. I've had enough. And we start to put up a shell, okay? And it happens all across the board, adults in this world. We all have some pain that has come into our life. And many of us have learned to deal with that by turning off the emotions, at least in some measure. And Jesus says, I want to take your hearts of stone and give you hearts of flesh. I want to heal that. I want you to let go of the repression. And that means sometimes grieving. I remember when I had a close friend, I studied abroad in Europe when I was your age, and I was in Norway, and my roommate, we had 2 rooms, shared a bathroom and shower, and then we had a kitchen with like 5 different rooms. But the guy was from Iran. His name was Mohammed, and he was practicing Muslim. We prayed together sometimes, basic prayer, but he often shared meals with me, and I with him. He taught me that you can make eggs and rice together and enjoy pistachios before and after. Pistachios, there are a lot of pistachios in Iran. He was a very bright guy. He knew Farsi, he knew Norwegian, he knew English fluently. Okay, straight A student. One time I invited him to a party, and this was back in my party days. And he said to me, he looked at the party and he walked away and he says, Michael, he says, the gaieties of the world do not suffice. And I thought, wow, he's committed, you know. We played soccer together. He used to play on the national team. For political reasons, he was a refugee and was accepted in Norway. On the final day of my goodbye, I'll never forget, he stood at the end of the train track weeping. He was weeping. And I'm in the train car, waving, and tears start to come. And that was really healthy. That was really healthy. Because that said there was a love and friendship, and it also said I can process the goodbye. I can treasure what was and move on to the next gift. As the apostles watched Jesus ascend into glory, there must have been tears. They're full of joy, but there must have been tears. And they had quite a roller coaster ride. At some point, you may experience that too. Number one, surrender to Jesus. Surrender to the Father who governs all providentially. The low parts of the ride are the most growthful periods, not the high points, the low points. Surrender to divine providence. Allow yourselves to process emotionally. Do not repress. That means grieving and shedding tears. Be it so. I invite you to take a moment now to consider your own emotional life. Is there something you need to process and let the tears flow?